Everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. Today is Vlogmas Day 21, so let us enjoy that. Gonna go here. What's going on in number 21? Oh my god, we're dropping things. This one is Spiced Apple. Let's smell this, shall we? See how it goes. Interesting. Not probably something I would reach for on a regular basis. Potentially ever. I think it smells a little too spicy for me. I don't like a lot of spice in my tea. I like sweeter teas or more simple. I'm not really big on super spice-centered teas. Today we're going to be doing a dual review. I was sent both of these books for review by the publishers that published them. I was sent Trevor Noah's Born a Crime by Penguin Random House in a NetGalley edition, and I was sent the physical copy of The Oral History of the Daily Show by Chris Smith and forwarded by Jon Stewart by Grand Central Publishing. Both of these books, I mean, it's safe to say, and it's easy to say, that they both have a lot in common because they both have hosted The Daily Show. They're both advocates for the Democratic Party. They both are very open and honest with their opinions on the current political system and the president-elect. But what's different about these two gentlemen? What is the same about them that we don't usually qualify as a similarity? The most obvious for the differences in the two of them would be race. And that is a very, very easy one to identify. But the other thing that's very different about the two of them that I think has shaped both of them in some ways and not in others, Trevor Noah is a very religious human. But not in the same way that a lot of people assume religious background and integrity needs to be. As a child, Trevor Noah speaks about going to multiple churches, experiencing the different types of churches, the different types of churches based around different races, different factions of African society, of different groups of people in terms of privilege and non-privilege, whether it be wealthy or not. Trevor Noah's religious experience was based around the fact that his mother was a very religious person, and he would go with her to religious functions on a weekly basis, potentially multiple places. Jon Stewart is Jewish, and while this has had, from what I can tell in this book, it really didn't shift his interaction with his relationship to The Daily Show. It definitely has become a conversation in revolving to his character. The fact that he changed his last name from a more notably Jewish last name to a more conservative and non-descriptive last name has been prone to controversy around certain people trying to call him out for that and for being unproud of his heritage. I think both of these men are very proud of their heritage and very proud of themselves and what they've accomplished, but they're also very proud of the people that they represent. And I think that is a huge thing that the two of them share. And it's a huge thing that the two of them share in many ways that really doesn't get recognized. So, for example, Jon Stewart, though he is not, like, outrightly outspoken about being Jewish, it is known that he is Jewish, and he takes pride in the fact that he is Jewish. And he also takes pride in the fact that there is history in that title. There's a background to that. There is a knowing of suffering and trauma that comes with that experience of being Jewish, whether or not it be related directly to you as a person or just the heritage you have from a religious background. And Trevor Noah came from apartheid in the African world, South Africa world, and he is half white, half black. And that was a huge problem for him as a child growing up. It forced him at a very young age to try and identify himself in a way that most children do not have to do so. Although it is very common for a child of a mixed race to have to identify themselves in one way or the other. And I think that is something that Trevor Noah, though doesn't speak of very frequently, he does take pride in the fact that he has knowledge from both race, from both the white and the black, and also from the heritage of an African family member. He's seen dictatorship. He's seen outright racism, he's seen cruelty, and he's seen evil in its purest form. And both of these men have now seen Republican candidates come into the White House that did not win the popular vote, and have had to try and use comedy to calm and soothe the American people. They have both been able to do so in some formats, but also isolate the opposing team in others. There is no way around the fact that The Daily Show is a primarily liberal media. And I don't think it ever tried to pretend that it was not. But I think that by being a comedy show, it's allowed to be, in a more direct way, what it really focuses on. And I don't think that humor is a fundamentally democratic form of entertainment, but it seems to me that Democrats find more comfort in the comedy of social commentary than I've seen in others. And that is a really interesting thing that both of these men understood and were able to tap into and find a common ground and to be able to support and help a community and a culture during some of the hardest times of their lives. These two men are great men. They are wonderful. These books were fabulous, but these books didn't just make me, happy because I read them. They made me smile. They made me laugh. Trevor Noah had a very approachable way of writing his story without isolating anybody or making anyone feel as if they couldn't understand what he was talking about. But at the same time, there's no asking for pity. There's no want for acknowledgement of his suffering. He's just telling you facts and stories with twists of funny commentary. He's honest. He's well-rounded and extremely blunt about his experience. And that's a quality that is not always recognized or appreciated. And Jon Stewart's the same way. And in the oral history of The Daily Show, you get to hear from many of the past people in the show. So Samantha Bee, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, all of those great names that we now all know and love as people in the liberal media. And these people are fundamental building blocks for the society that a lot of us were hoping would continue for another 4 years. And it's not gone. And these gentlemen, with their books coming out right as they did, which was in November, they came out days after the election. And we need them right now. We need these words of wisdom and this courage, but we also need this comedy. We need this edge to be taken off by a laugh. And these men offer it in these books. They offer it in their comedy and in their show. Jon Stewart definitely offers it in his commentary on everything. He is a very well-spoken and eloquent man who has a lot of integrity, and I respect both of these men greatly. I recommend these books highly, but I wouldn't say that they are for everybody. I think they are definitely for a distinct audience, and I'm not trying to isolate anybody by making this video. I'm just stating a fact that, unfortunately, if you are not mindful in the same way that they are of the Democratic Party, I think there is a gap that could be breached by these books and should be breached by these books, but may not be. I think that it's very hard to discuss religion and to discuss politics, but I think it's a conversation we need to have, because right now there's such a separation of Democrats and Republicans. that it's scary. And I don't think any of us need to be separated. And I think these two men really demonstrate and show us that trauma and past experiences of cultures and diversity can overcome and become greatness and comedy, and can become something that we all look back on as a historical event that taught us how to be better humans. I will see you guys tomorrow.